guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today is day 10, yay, of Ethany's hashtag 31 Days of Tarot 2020, and the prompt is all about what decks we would like to reconnect with in 2020. So these are decks that got lost in the shuffle. And we just want to, forge that connection with them again in 2020. So as you can see, I pulled out my decks behind me so that I can start going through them. And for the most part, I mean, I have a lot of decks, but I would say 90% of them, and then there's just maybe a few where either I don't use them all that often because they're a little more fragile and they don't make that deck anymore, so I'm like afraid of messing it up or whatever. But I think I pretty much use all my decks, but then I noticed there were a few I just hadn't used in a while. So it's not that they've been neglected for years or anything, but maybe this past year I haven't really used them, and maybe part of 2018. But I'd like to bring them back into rotation. So without further ado, let's jump into some of these decks. So the first one is actually all in Japanese, and the translation is Spiritual Tarot. This is a majors only deck, and I have used majors only decks, in my readings and some of my pickup card readings. I have like the Pusheen and Lisa Frank ones that I use, but I just haven't used this majors only deck in a while. I even have a Hello Kitty one. And I think this is great. I got it actually from a really nice Japanese couple on eBay. And they even sent me a little like origami crane, or a swan, which I thought was pretty cute. And a very nice note as well. And they even wrote part of the note in Japanese and gave me the translation, basically wishing me, tons of blessings and all of that with the cards. So perfect condition. These are like super... I'm talking super thick, kind of plastic laminated cards, so I wouldn't mind if they got wet. It looks like they're fully sealed as well. But here they are. I mean, the words are in English, but I really love the art. It's quirky, and I'm just like, how did you get lost in the shuffle? I love this deck. Obviously, I love all of my decks, but, and when I feel like I'm not connecting with a deck anymore, I always let it move on to somebody else who will appreciate it, because I think that decks should be used. But yeah, I would like to reconnect with the Spiritual Tarot, and I don't know, I think that's just the name. You have to type into eBay if you're interested. I don't see that it's sold anywhere else except eBay. I think I saw one more copy some time back. But yeah, it's, of course in here, and it's backwards, well, backwards to me, but not backwards to Japanese, because they read the other way. And, and in Western world, we read the other way, but, so it's in here, and it has like a little book, which I used Google Translate, and I thought it was an awesome book through Google Translate. Comes in this interesting little package. So yeah, I would like to reconnect with the Spiritual Tarot, my majors only deck, and another deck that I would like to reconnect with that I've had for a while, and for a while I was using it nonstop. Then it's just like, I don't know, I haven't used it in quite some time. But that's the Totem Tarot by Lisa Robertson. And yeah, I think it's a fabulous deck. Again, all of these decks I'm going to show you, they're fabulous. I love them. That's why I still have them. It's just like, I just didn't get to use them all that much this past year. And 2019 was really busy. So it's like I didn't have time to go digging through, my decks and, oh, I want to use this one. I usually just kind of grab the ones that were on the top. But yeah, I would like to reconnect with this one as well. Me, I love me my animules. Speaking of animules, I have my little panther who's asleep on top of my herbs there. I put my my spread cloths, I kind of drape them here so that they stay somewhat wrinkle free, although maybe that's not true because the panther sleeps on top of them. So I have like my boxes of herbs, you know, all my different herbs for things, and I just kind of draped my spread cloths on top, and ended up becoming a panther nest. So there you go. I would also like to reconnect with the Voyager Tarot by James Wanless, PhD. And this was one of the first decks I got. So it's not the first deck. My first deck was the Enchanted Tarot, and then it was the Osho Zen. But this may have come afterwards. I don't remember. But yeah, so I've had it for a while now. So here we have the whatever it's a cross section of a human cell, which is pretty cool. And then we have, oh wow, it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, with it's just the coloring here. It's kind of hard to see when there's lighting, but you have what the card is down here, but you also have like a keyword up here. And there's so much going on in the cards, so much collage-y goodness. And for me, I love sometimes when there's a lot going on in cards. See, I'm kind of the extreme. Sometimes I want some really simple cards, and sometimes I love when there's a lot going on. It just depends on the energy of the reading that I'm doing and kind of how I want to utilize my intuition. But yeah, I would love to reconnect with the Voyager Tarot. Again, it's an excellent read. I think one of the first few times I started reading for people was at the Del Mar Fair, and it was just once, but it was one of my dude's customers or something. He was talking to them, and so he had me talking to the wife, and I ended up like doing a reading for the wife, like in the booth while he was, you know, because he had a little booth there for, you know, his company. So, which has nothing to do with tarot, but I used this deck, and it was like, oh my gosh, kind of like impromptu, and I didn't know if I was doing it right, and she was like, no, you're doing just fine. So that was kind of like my confidence boosting reading that I did way back when. And I want to reconnect with the Happy Tarot. I've been hearing people talk about the Happy Tarot, and I was like, you know what? When's the last time I used my Happy Tarot? I don't remember. It's been quite some time. I love the Happy Tarot. And it was it Soren who was talking, he was telling me about the Happy Tarot, how sometimes it can be quite hard hitting and kind of sassy. And I agree. Yes, it's happy. Yes, it's cutesy wootsy. But sometimes it really calls you out. Actually, most of the time it calls me out. So I don't know. Is there some sort of psychological reason I decided I haven't used my Happy Tarot in quite some time? But no, you know what? I need to bust this out again. And you know what? I'm going to put this off to the side because I'm going to use it tonight. It's about time me and the Happy Tarot got back together. Okay. Another deck I would love to reconnect with is my Justice League Tarot. Yay! Got this one a while ago. Even comes with a little bag to put your cards in, but this bag is small and cheap, and actually the cards don't fit so well in here without damaging your cards. I thought that was kind of interesting. And I got this back before I started my YouTube channel. So this is probably 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago when I got this deck. And there were some characters in here I didn't know who they were. I knew the good majority of them, but it was nice to have the dude help fill me in on who some of the other characters are, and like the stories and things like that, which really help, and I could see how they, you know, connect to the tarot. So I thought that was excellent. So yeah, I would love to reconnect with this. I used to be really gentle with this at first because I was like, ooh, it's the Justice League Tarot. It's supposed to be like a really special tarot deck. But I was like, you know what? I just feel like I shouldn't be that gentle with it. Like we should just read and have some fun. I don't think it's meant to be a frou-frou deck. So yes, I would love to reconnect with my Justice League. And there's about 4 more. Do I have like 9 decks? That's not too bad considering how many decks are in my collection. Who knows? Nobody knows. Only the shadow knows. Okay, I would love to reconnect with the Druid Craft Tarot deck. Yes! I'm a huge fan of Will Worthington's work. I don't know, how did this get pushed out? You know, there were a few decks that became like my soul decks, so I ended up using them a lot more, which didn't give a whole lot of read time for some of my other decks, and I think this is one of the ones that got pushed off to the side in favor of some other ones. But doesn't mean I don't love you. You know, we're still homies, we're still friends. You know. So yes, this deck, I love to bust it out when there's a fire going and it's nice and cold outside. I don't know, for this one maybe I have to be more in a type of season. You know, I don't really have a whole lot of seasonal decks, but for this one it's a type of season. I don't really feel myself called to it too much during the summer or the fall, but mostly in autumn and spring actually, which is probably why it's been quite some time since I've read with this. It just needs to, I don't know, the weather and the feel, the atmosphere needs to be a certain way for me to be connecting with this deck. So I would say it's more, from me personally, a winter and spring deck. Is this my only like weather type deck? It might be. My only seasonal deck? I don't know. All right, another deck that I would love to reconnect with is the Floriography Tarot. Why haven't I used this in quite some time? I don't know. And actually, the creator of the Floriography Tarot was the one that was kind of cheering me on and helping me when I was putting my Wally's World Oracle together, like even before I started putting stuff into the computer. She was telling me all about the process of her making her deck and you know, the joy that she got out of it, and the nerves about, you know, trying to get it sold and not knowing if people would like it and all of that. And she helped build my confidence in creating my deck. So I have a very special connection to this deck. To me, this is the, if she can do it, I can do it, you know? Yeah, and I just love her deck anyway, and she's a lovely person. So yeah, I would love to reconnect with this one. I have a couple more. Just gonna put them back in their boxes. Okay. Get in your box. You want to be in your box. Okay, the second to last deck that I would love to reconnect with during this year of 2020 is the Delos Tarot. Yes! Haven't used it in quite some time. I just love the interior. It's cute too. I think that there was another version of it that came out that was larger, actual tarot size, whereas this is obviously, as you can see, a lot smaller. But I love the smaller cutesy version, and it's just that I need to bust it out more. And I think it's just been buried underneath some decks, and that's why I haven't used it. But it doesn't mean I don't like it. I still love this deck. I still think it's cute. Actually, I think it's sweeter and softer than the Happy Tarot. Whereas the Happy Tarot, yes, can be quite sassy. So yeah, I would love to reconnect with this one. And lastly, let's get into the final deck that I would love to reconnect with in the year 2020, which happens to be this current year. And that is the Animism Tarot. And you can see this box is beat because I've had it for a while. I just need to reconnect with it though. Just meaning I just need to use it some more again. Maybe I'll start using it for some daily draws again. Maybe starting this week. Maybe next week. Who knows? Maybe do some readings with it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a spread with it. Ooh, maybe I'll do a spell with it. I love using tarot cards with spell making. But me and my animals. I love my animals. With this one, this particular deck to me is a little more shadowy, you know, more shadowy in terms of my animal decks that I have. It's my most shadowy deck, which is probably why I haven't used it all that much, because sometimes you're just not in the mood to do some shadow work. You're more in the mood for the Delos Tarot. So anyway, those are all of the decks that I would love to reconnect with in 2020, this year. And so I will make a point to do that. And anyway, I look forward to seeing other decks that people would love to reconnect with this year. And yeah, I will catch you guys tomorrow for day 11. All right, so I'll catch you spiritual homies later. If you dug this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And if you want to catch a reading from me, head over to www.kittensweightsandtarot.com. And if you want to throw a little kitten kibble my way, think about joining that KWT tribe over at patreon.com/kittensweightsandtarot and snap up all those freebies. All right, so I will catch you spiritual homies later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.